ಕೊಡ್ತು. ಹ್ಮ್. वासुदेवाय ओम भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम Chapter 4, text, chapter, Canto 4, text, chapter 9, text number 45. अभिवन्द्य पितुपादा आशीर्भिश्चाभिमन्त्रितः न नाम मातरौ शीर्ष्णा सत्कृता सज्जनाग्रणी अभिवन्द्य पितुपादा आशीर्भिश्चाभिमन्त्रितः ननातरो शीर्ष्णा सत्कृता सज्जनाग्रणी शेषा Abhivandya, worshipping Pitu of his father, Pado, the feet, Ashilvi, with benedictions, Cha, and Abhimantritaha was addressed. Nanama, he bowed. Madharo, to his two sisters, sorry, to his two mothers. Shivsna, with his head. Satkritaha was honored. Satjana, of the nobles. Agrani, the foremost. Translation purport by Svan Vaishya Prabhupada. Then Dhruva Maharaj, the foremost of all nobles, first of all offered his obeisances at the feet of his father and was honored by his father with various questions. He then bowed his head at the feet of his two mothers. Purport. It may be questioned why Dhruva Maharaj offered his respect not only to his mother but also to his stepmother, due to whose insults he had to leave home. The answer is that after achieving perfection by self-realization and seeing the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face, Dhruva Maharaj was completely freed from all contamination of material desire. Feelings of insult or honor in this material world are never perceived by a devotee. Lord Chaitanya therefore says that one has to be humbler than the grass, and he recommends more tolerant than the tree to execute devotional service. Dhruva Maharaj therefore has in this verse been described as Sajjana Prani, the foremost of noble men. The pure devotee is the noblest of all, and he has no feelings of animosity towards anyone. Duality, due to animosity, is a creation of this material world. There is no such thing in the spiritual world, which is the absolute reality. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaः. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Katamahyam Dadati Swaparantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Pada Kamala Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sahjatam Savaraganathanitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijasaitam Krishna Chaitanya Shri Radha Krishna Balan Sarvarita Shri Vishakhanita He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Bhakka Kanta Radha Kanta Namasute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishwavansadevi Pranam Vanchakalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhyeya Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Lakayate Vire Kripalamam Vande Shivaram Dinataya Paramananda Bharam Shri Chaitanya Ishwar. So, we just had a very wonderful Shri Shri Radha Gopijana Taipat Gaurahari Jai Guru Shila Prabhupada ki Jai. We just had a very wonderful Kirtan, very wonderful darshan. It's the greatest privilege to have the association of such wonderful devotees, and it's such a privilege to have such a wonderful example of Krishna consciousness. Such wonderful examples of Krishna consciousness were actually coming through. So I really liked His Grace Radheshyam Prabhu, what he was mentioning yesterday. Just meditating on some of the things he mentioned yesterday. It's very relevant to our devotional life. Because actually, the title, what is the title of the lecture, topic of the lecture yesterday? The topic of the lecture yesterday was Ramanuga Sadhana Bhakti. So it's very interesting what uh, Prabhuji said. It's very, very relevant to that topic actually. Because the main difference between someone who is doing mechanically and someone who is doing out of love is that the person who is doing a lot of love with love, adds a lot of emotion to it. And Srila Prabhupada mentions that all we have to do is we simply have to purify our feeling. The more and more we purify our feeling, we increase our feeling for Krishna, the more and more bhakti becomes relishable, and the more and more bhakti becomes spontaneous. What is spontaneous? Spontaneous on one level means that there is a flow, just as um, the water from the mountains, the clear water flows from the mountains uninterruptedly, even though there may be so many obstacles, it flows uninterruptedly and comes down because of the force and the power of the water. So in the same way, the spontaneous service attitude from the heart of a pure devotee, it just gushes and it darts or it rushes towards the lotus feet of Krishna. Mm. Savai mana Krishna padara vindayo. So his mind constantly flows towards the lotus feet of the Lord. And his spontaneous service attitude, his love for Krishna, takes many multifarious forms. And that expression of love is actually service. I have neither no qualification or realization. I humbly bow at the dust of the lotus feet of all the devotees, that only by the power of your blessings I can speak something. No, I did not. I just, this morning I was told to give this class, and I'm very fallen and in front of all of you, all very exalted. So I request all of your blessings. So, when the love from the heart of a pure devotee is actually takes the form that is called service. So, of course, that is the highest definition and it's very high. But another kind of pure devotee is someone who adds the loving sentiment to everything he does, so that he never feels devotional service as a burden. Why do you feel bhakti as a burden? Why do you feel bhakti is difficult? Because the mind is not engaged in devotional service. When the mind is engaged in devotional service, then bhakti becomes very interesting. And how do we engage the mind in devotional service? Prahlad Maharaj says something very wonderful. Prahlad Maharaj says, even if someone is very fallen, if he does two things, then he will be delivered by the Lord. Those two things are, the two things that Prahlad Maharaj says are, number one is to uh, offer prayers. So when we offer prayers to the Lord, and number two, when we hear the glories of the Lord, these two help us to attain the mercy of the Lord. As Prabhupada says always, Prabhupada, recently I was hearing very encouraging. Prabhupada was saying that these three modes of material nature are constantly fluctuating between rajas, tamas, and sattva. So Prabhupada says, how can we overcome this fluctuation? Prabhupada says, simply by hearing. And that's very instructive because that verse that His Grace, I don't know how many of you remember the class that His Grace Dwarkadish Prabhu gave here. It's a very instructive class And in that purport, Prabhupada says three things which are very important. Number one, Prabhupada says, if you want to practice pure devotion, number one is to always be very busy in the service of the Lord, constantly busy in the service of the Lord. Number two is to always be in the association of devotees, or as much as possible. And third, most very important, Prabhupada says, become mad after hearing. Prahlad Maharaj says that it will be so easy for me to cross over this Maya, this material energy. Why? Because I have become mad to hear your glories. So these three things. So when we become very much attracted to hearing from a pure devotee, then that hearing, like very nice, his grace Acharya Prabhu says, if we don't hear, we won't chant Hare Krishna, we'll chant something else. So many times we see that it happens to me also in the chanting that mind goes somewhere. Why? Because actually, what is the mind? No, mind is simply a combination of our previous experiences. A very bizarre combination of our previous experiences. But if we hear sufficiently, that hearing will actually purge the mind of all the impurities and actually invoke within the heart love for the Lord. So not only do we want to hear, we just don't want to hear information, but we want to hear the feeling also. That is very important. We want to hear the feeling of a pure devotee. That feeling of a pure devotee is the feeling of a pure devotee is the secret to success in spiritual life. It's the most attractive thing. The feeling. Like yesterday, I was just hearing that Srila Prabhupada was saying that, they were asking that, will it take, how many lifetimes will it take Srila Prabhupada to become completely purified? Prabhupada said, if you surrender to Krishna, then it just takes 1 minute. And when Prabhupada was saying that, Prabhupada was seeing had tears in his eyes, and Prabhupada was speaking with so much compassion, so much love, with so much, and it was as if that when Prabhupada was speaking, and Prabhupada was displaying that intense love for Krishna, that was just melting the hearts of the devotees, and the devotees just completely surrendered to that love. And it's very visible in that video actually that they just completely surrendered to that spontaneous love of Srila Prabhupada, the spontaneous love that Srila Prabhupada has for the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. So it's very, very attractive. So pure devotees are extremely attractive. So this verse is about how the quote unquote the ill feelings of Maharaj Dhruva, how that actually disappeared because he attained Atha Darshanam. Atha Darshanam means face to face darshan of the Lord. And what to speak of darshan of the Lord, even face to face darshan of a pure devotee, actual darshan of a pure devotee. A pure devotee, by taking darshan of a pure devotee, and not just darshan, I mean, not just seeing the bare body, but when we are able to, by the mercy of a pure devotee, when we're able to perceive that the love they have for the Lord, that when the pure devotee gives us the eyes to see that the kind of feelings they have, because pure devotees live from feeling to feeling. Everything they do is with feeling. So when we have that great fortune, that is non-different from not only seeing the Lord, but actually receiving reciprocation from the Lord. Because the pure devotee gives that reciprocation that he receives from the Supreme Lord to all living entities. And that's how the living entities, they get an amazing opportunity to actually become attracted to Krishna. I was reading Krishna book recently, and Prabhupada said that Krishna means one who is made of attraction. Everything about Krishna is attractive. And I was thinking that, wow, I take darshan of Krishna so many times and I don't remember him, which means I have no attraction for him. So coming back to the principle, so highest type of loving service is when there is spontaneous, that love which, like one time one pure devotee was mentioning that it's such an amazing feeling to fall in love with Krishna. Such an amazing feeling. And everything else in this world is completely insignificant. So I was just thinking that, of course, that is the realization of the pure devotees. But um, and sometimes we see also, like when pure devotees, when they speak, then certain pastimes of the Lord, they become manifest in our mind. And it's like the sound vibration is so extraordinary because the sound vibration of a pure devotee has all the Shaktis of the Lord, and therefore it has a power, virya, virya samvido, to actually manifest, to help us to remember the Lord. Because pure devotees of the Lord, they always remember Krishna with so much love and affection. So, another kind of spontaneous service is when we are so much lost in the details of devotional service, which means we do whatever we do with so much detail, with so much feeling, that uh, we never feel it's a burden because we're so much busy. We're so much busy in adding emotions, adding prayers, adding glories to our service that we feel it's so wonderful. It's so wonderful because these prayers are prayers of the previous acharyas. These glories are the glories of the Lord spoken by the Lord. So these are very, very attractive. So sometimes our devotional service becomes very boring and very mundane. I mean, not mundane, but monotonous. Sorry. Because we don't add prayers, we don't add, we're not hearing while serving. So therefore, the mind becomes free. The mind becomes free, then naturally speaking for myself, the false ego manifests. I am the body, I am the mind, I am this, I am that. Then naturally in course of time we're not able to relish the taste of bhakti. But when we actually understand, deeply understand, and we make one with our heart the moods of the pure devotees, the previous acharyas, and we offer those prayers to the Lord, not that I'm offering those prayers, not that I have those emotions or I have those feelings, but as their humble servant, I am just bringing the pure devotees to the Lord. So then the Lord become very much pleased. Like I many times have experienced that um, on the altar when we play the songs of Srila Prabhupada, bhajans of Srila Prabhupada, the pure devotees, I immediately see like I feel the atmosphere to be different. And so I become convinced that yes, that it's non-different when you play the sound vibration of the pure devotees, it's not different from the pure devotees actually being right there in front of the Lord. So that's how powerful it is to connect with the pure devotees. So we want to make our heart one with the heart of the pure devotees. That is called Vishram Bhena Guru Seva. So there is a saying, no, that uh, Guru Mata, Guru Pita, Guru Hanapati, E Samsare Guru Vina, Aranai. So it's not a mechanical, fear-induced kind of surrender, but it's actually becoming one with the heart. That is pure devotional service. It's like we've seen Srila Prabhupada disciples, how much they're one with the heart of Srila Prabhupada. And that's why it's so easy for them to follow the instructions of Srila Prabhupada. It's so easy for them to do so many things in Krishna consciousness because of their because they have developed so much love for Srila Prabhupada that that love gives them so much joy in their heart, that they never feel any burden, they never feel any pain, any problem. So that is the way we will advance. Moksha Dwaram Apavritam. Only when we will develop love for the pure devotee or love for the devotees, that love will actually help us to cross over all the obstacles. So we should make our devotional service interesting, make our devotional service full of feeling by studying the songs of the previous acharyas. So wonderful, actually. The previous acharyas have written songs for everything. Everything. It's so amazing, actually. Even, recently I was just reading this song. This is by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. This is very simple song, actually. This is actually Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote this song on the first verse of Nectar of Instruction. So I'll just read and I'll sing one thing. This is so nice. The powerful urges of speech, mind, anger, tongue, belly, and genital have banded together to cast me adrift on the sea of this material world, thus causing me great anxiety and trouble. After great endeavor to subdue these material demands, I have completely given up all hope. O Lord of the destitute, I call upon your holy name, for now you are my only shelter. See, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, how much he understands. On one hand, of course, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is Kamala Manjari, and he is on that platform. But at the same time, is very much relating to us also. He's saying, I have completely given up all hope. So this is such an amazing prayer. Aneka jatane se shabadamane chadiyachi ashami anatiranath dakitavanam ekhona barashantu. So beautiful. Actually, I was hearing this one day. His Holiness Bhakti Prem Maharaj was speaking on this song, actually. So as we familiarize ourselves with the songs of the previous acharyas and the writings of Srila Prabhupada, then Srila Prabhupada gives us the clue on how we can remain inspired in Krishna consciousness. By hearing Srila Prabhupada, because ultimately it's a heart-to-heart connection. Divya Gyan, Hriday Prakashito. So to the extent that Krishna is pleased, to that extent he will reveal himself in our heart. And what does revelation mean? To increase our attraction to him, to increase our interest in him, and to increase our interest in his pure devotees. So many times we hear so many descriptions, but actually, when Krishna will open our heart, then we'll be able to be attracted. His Grace Radha Shankar was mentioning it. This is the essence of all of his classes, actually. He was telling yesterday about Amritattva. Amritattva means entering into timelessness. What is that? It means being absorbed. If you are fully absorbed in your service, in your sadhana, in your worship, in your reading, in your chanting, you're fully absorbed, you're fully dedicated to doing whatever you're doing with love for Krishna, with a prayerful mood for Krishna, that Krishna, I want to give pleasure to your senses. Then we are actually in Amritattva, actually. Then we're not conscious of the time, we're not conscious of the place, we're just fully absorbed. So this absorption, we need to find out how can we be absorbed? What can we do? And all it takes is a prayer. All it takes is a prayer. Pray to Srila Prabhupada, pray to Guru that please give me the inspiration, give me the buddhi on how I can be absorbed in your service. how I can be absorbed in your service. And that is a progression of bhakti. There will be so many obstacles, there will be so many obstructions, but if we are 100% absorbed in whatever we're doing and doing it with our full heart, then for sure uh, Krishna will come in our heart and Krishna will destroy all the unwanted things. So it's very important for us as devotees to actually, heart of hearts, we need to connect with the sadhu. We need to connect with pure devotees, not just one devotee, but pure devotees of the Lord. So actually, to the extent that we're connected to a pure devotee, that we feel for a pure devotee and we're connected internally to a pure devotee, to that extent, we can get all strength in devotional service. We can get all strength in devotional service. So actually, there is a very wonderful pastime actually that two pastimes I want to mention very quickly. So first pastime is, you all know this pastime, that Jiva Goswami was serving Srila Rupa Goswami so much love and affection for so much time. And one scholar came along. Of course, there are two instances. So one scholar came along and he challenged Rupa and Sanatana Goswami. Nana Shastra Vicharaneka Nipuna Sadharma Samstapaka. So the six Goswamis, they wrote such kind of literatures that will benefit all the living entities. But this scholar, because he was not so much aware of their position, he challenged them, and they were least interested because they could see that this person is just coming to waste their time. So they decided, okay, we just sign. They signed their name. Then he went and showed it to Jiva Goswami. Jiva Goswami said that I challenge you. He said, what is the point of you challenging me? Already I have defeated your guru. He said, no, you have not defeated them. They just didn't want to waste your time with the stupid, silly arguments. That's why they signed their name. So Jiva Goswami challenged him and he defeated him. And this person was completely humbled. And he went to Rupa Goswami and said, Are, your disciple is so learned. You are just taking a humble position. So Rupa Goswami went to Jiva Goswami, told him that you are too much proud. You think that you know a lot of Shastra, a lot of literature, but to live in Vrindavan, you need to become very humble. Jiva Goswami did not say a word, and Rupa Goswami said you should leave Vrindavan immediately. Because if you want to live in Vrindavan, you should be very humble. So Jiva Goswami left. And Jiva Goswami left. Jiva Goswami, at that time, actually, it is mentioned in the Vaishnava history that he wrote the Sandarbhas. He wrote like thousands of verses. And that was a time he was barely eating, was barely sleeping, and that's what he did. So how is it that he was able to do this amazing thing in this most difficult time? Because the most difficult time for a disciple is not when he gets sick, not when he loses his job, not when he, even when his family member dies. That's not the most difficult time for a disciple. The most difficult time for a disciple is when Guru is displeased. So actually, if you really see, actually what Jiva Goswami did is perfect. Is perfect because he did it simply to defend the position of Guru. When you need to defend the position of Guru, you should become like a lion. Uh, that is the Vaishnava injunction. So he did perfect thing. So Jiva, I mean Rupa Goswami's displeasure was only external. It was not heart of hearts actually. So because Jiva Goswami was so much connected with his guru, he was able to perceive that thing. And that's why he was still able to continue. And that's why even in that difficult position, he was glorified. He was glorified. So in the same way, mm, if we become so much connected to a pure devotee, heart to heart connection is there, then that can bring forth all the good qualities. Trinadapi sunichena, tharorapi saishna. Humbler the blade of grass, more tolerant than a tree. It's very difficult in this world to manifest such qualities. But the those qualities get transferred from the heart of a pure devotee. Because when you become, as one as Ramnath Maharaj said, very amazing statement, that we should hear Shastra in such a way that everything we see in this world is actually reminding us of the instructions of Sadhu Guru, Shastra. So that's very important for us. So all the good qualities will become manifest by this deep internal connection. And therefore, we need to involve our spiritual master in our daily life, in how, whatever way possible, the form of prayers, in the form of so many ways we can involve actually, if we want to. If we want to. Like one time, one disciple of Srila Prabhupada asked Prabhupada, Prabhupada, are you always in my heart? Prabhupada said, yes, if you want me to be there. So if we always involve Guru, Sadhu, pure devotees in our devotional life, then our devotional service will become very much interesting. Very interesting. Because they're dying to give us that. They're dying to give us that. Otherwise, why did Rupa Goswami give us Krishna book? I mean, sorry, why did Srila Prabhupada give us Krishna book? Why did Prabhupada, when Prabhupada published Upadeshamrita, one devotee asked, Prabhupada has Radha Kund, all these things are there. Should we only distribute it to strict devotees or chanting? Or Prabhupada said, no, distribute in mass. So, see, this is Prabhupada's greed. No, this is Prabhupada's greed. So, Prabhupada is very greedy uh, to, as soon as possible, uh, give us the spiritual body, to give us the perfection. So in response to that, we should also be, we should be very greedy to actually get that thing. We should get that thing. So yeah, so this is a perfect example. Jiva Goswami did not care for insult or honor. He did not care what people thought about him, but he just was so much absorbed in serving his guru. And ultimately, what he did is incredible, incredible quality and quantity. So it's very difficult to be tolerant. It's very difficult to be patient. It's very difficult to be humble. Sometimes when situations are very difficult. So at that time, what we can do is we can pray. Praying is the only way. Only way. There is no other way, no other way, no other way. The only way is we have to pray. And trust me, prayers work. They work wonders. They work wonders. So you try whenever in difficult situation, just pray. Sometimes you have argument with someone, even among husband, wife, even among close devotees, sometimes it happens due to colleague. So that time you just pray that please help immediately. Because in the heart, to remember Krishna, we need to be peaceful. So many, if you read devotional service, chapter devotional service, Bhagavad Gita, so many verses are there, so many qualifications are there. How will it be possible for us to manifest all those qualifications? Just reading those qualifications itself, is, at least for me, is humbling enough. How will it be able to manifest all those qualities? Wow, impossible. So our only hope is to take shelter of your devotee. You take shelter of a pure devotee, take shelter of the moods of a pure devotee, and they will create the environment in the heart so that we can remember Krishna, we can serve Krishna. So, actually, we should do this also. It helps a lot. Suppose we commit some mental offense to a devotee, or we any kind of offense we commit to a devotee. Of course, if we actually commit offense, we should go and we should beg forgiveness. That's of course there. But when we commit mental offenses, sometimes it may happen. The most powerful, the most powerful thing we can do is actually, we can pray for the devotee. We can pray for the devotee. So we can pray for the devotee very sincerely that uh, a devotee gets pure devotional service. When we make this prayer, then it's a very powerful prayer actually, very powerful prayer. And that prayer helps us to connect with that devotee on the spiritual platform. When you connect with any devotee on a spiritual platform, then that connection will help us to go closer to Krishna. That's, I mean, the two main things is this Radhashyam Prabhu was mentioning. The one thing is controlling senses, and second is relationships. So if we can solve these two problems, then our devotional service will go on smoothly. Of course, we should be very sense controlled, which I am not by any means. And we should be very controlled in our speech also, which I am not. I speak very harshly. But all the devotees have experienced that. But what works is when we make a mistake, we start praying, we start repenting in the heart. And as much as possible, it's not just enough to pray that forgive me. No, it's better prayer is Krishna. um, I'm willing to make whatever sacrifices so that that devotee can go towards pure devotional service. That devotee can attain prema. That I want to make sacrifices and I want to serve that devotee in that way. If you pray in this way, the effect is different. The connection becomes a lot more divine. So these are some practical things from my life that I have little experience. So coming back to the point, so we can decorate our devotional service with the prayers, and the ashtakams, various ashtakams are there, and so on and so forth, with the pastimes of the pure devotees. But all in a very humble mood. We should never display our good fortune. We should never display. And the most important thing actually is that we should consider that I don't deserve, but I'm getting. Because bhakti is a privilege, it's not a right. Like I have experienced that when we are away from the association of devotees, how much we feel that wow, I really missed out. You just miss one day Mangalarti, you miss one day Guru Puja, you see the difference. It's, oh, feels like I did a big mistake. So, yeah, so we can decorate our devotional service, we can hear pastimes of the Lord after taking guidance, but we should never display that. Nobody should know what mercy we're receiving. Of course, some devotees, but nobody should know. Why? Because then fame will come. Material fame. Material fame will distract us, will reduce our good fortune. So we should never do that. We should. There is a saying, that if you boil water in a pot, boil water in a pot. If you close the pot, you don't open the pot. Then after some time, the pot will become like a bomb. It will explode if you don't do anything. So, but if you open the lid, if you take out the lid, then you can see a lot of smoke and everyone will appreciate, wow, I mean, they won't appreciate, but I'm just giving an example. So if you display a devotional service, people will say, wow, amazing devotee. But then bhakti, if you want to develop love for Krishna, then it's a private thing. It's a private thing. So if for love to uh, develop, we have to maintain that confidentiality. So that's very important. So it's a very important principle in Krishna consciousness. If we want to, like you see all these pure devotees, how much, of course, there are pure devotees who speak also, but generally, how many pure devotees you see speak about the esoteric pastimes? How many pure devotees you see speak about their dreams, their special experiences? Nobody. Nobody speaks actually. Um, why nobody speaks? Because they want to maintain that confidentiality. They don't want to broadcast. It's like Madhavendra Puri, right? After Gopal stole sweet rice for him, he ran away actually. He ran away and didn't want anyone to know even. So that should be our mode of our sampradaya. Mm. The six Goswamis, they were the greatest Vaidhi bhaktas actually. See, if you are progressing towards rag, that does not mean that you give up vidhi. It means vidhi is performed with more feeling. Like I was hearing one time, Grace Sripad was mentioning that we need to follow all the instructions of Prabhupada, even the smaller ones. So what is that? That is following Vaidhi Bhakti very, very strictly. Like this one is Gopal Krishna Maharaj, in his last days in this world, he was struggling to pay obeisances. But no, he was, even though it was so difficult, he was paying obeisances. So those who have attained love, who are on the platform of spontaneous love for Krishna, they do all the rules and regulations. They do even those rules and regulations which are not required. Also, they do those things um, out of their love for Krishna. Not they cut it down. No, right? You see, it's based Radheshyam Prabhu, like how strict he is with the morning program after so many years, so many years. Hmm. So I was just meeting with him. He spends so much time with me. I was shocked actually. Never met him before. I was shocked. When I offered a business, he also offered a business. I said, don't do that. So those who have that spontaneous love for Krishna, they execute all the rules and regulations, but not just mechanically with feeling, with a prayerful mood. So our only goal of life should be to aspire to become one with the dust of the pure devotees. Dadanasridam dante idam yache puna puna Srimad Rupa Padam Boja Dhulisham Janma Janmani. So what is Raghunath Das Goswami praying? That I just want to become one with the life after life, one with the dust. Uh, Rupa Padamboja, life after life. So, yeah, so that is the key to achieving these kind of qualities. Mm, these kind of qualities. Actually, if we always take a humble position, we always actually, I was just meditating on this morning that if we always behave in general. Of course, with some close devotees, we can have some more intimate dealings, Preeti Lakshanam, but generally, we behave with devotees as if we are seeing them the first time. That's very good. Never take devotees for granted. Never take anything but devotees for granted. Like one of the first things I was trained when I came to Krishna consciousness, always before either speaking or always Dandavat Pranam Jai Shri Prabhupada. Always. Why? Because that create some respect that, hey, you know, I'm talking to a Vaishnava, I'm talking to a serious devotee. So I had to be very, very extremely careful. I had to be very, very careful. Um, in my dealings. So, yeah, if we are in that way very careful, then Krishna, um, Krishna will protect us. Radharani will protect us. The Guru Parampara will protect us. Otherwise, Kali is very powerful. Kali is very powerful. So we have to always adopt this mood of compromising, compromising our own respect, our own happiness, and making the other person comfortable. Because that's what it takes to melt someone's heart. If you want to melt someone's heart, you have to make some compromise with our own comfort. That's what pure devotees do. They make compromise all the time. They make compromise all the time. So we need to compromise. Of course, we need to correct when needed. We need to point out when needed. But then, when it comes to our own personal comfort, then we need to take a humble position. So, Shri Swamis Ramnath Maharaj, one time I was mentioning, one time he was giving a class and someone asked Maharaj, he was speaking on like Shikshashtakam. And he said that devotee asked Maharaj, very innocently asked, Maharaj, so you read Shikshashtakam every day? He said, no, I should do that. Wow, I was shocked. What is that kind of humility? And Maharaj, just to make that person comfortable, I mean, of course, his humility, but see how much that the heart of immediately that devotee was heart completely melted, completely melted. So these pure devotees, they make so much sacrifice. That is the heart of Vaishnava Seva, the heart of Vaishnava Seva. So, yeah, so it's a very wonderful verse actually, and this is the heart of our movement. Yesterday, Radheshyam Prabhu was saying that how that ISKCON, we should see ISKCON, that is spiritual world at Golok Vrindavan. How it will become a spiritual world when we have this kind of mood, when we have this kind of mood that in the material world everyone want to exploit, but in ISKCON we want to serve, we want to serve, we want to serve. So people have to feel that, and it's true, right? When we reflect on how much we have gotten, how much have we gotten, how much devotees have given us. Like I was just thinking, Prabhu, and so many pure devotees. When you give a class, if you start preaching, you understand how much time it takes, how much energy it takes to speak, to meet with people, at the same time do sadhana, to do everything. And actually, it's a great sacrifice. It's a great sacrifice. Kishore Prabhu is doing a great sacrifice, for the community. And only after some time we will realize, when we come to that stage, we mature will realize that how difficult it is to make that sacrifice, how difficult it is for our gurus to make that sacrifice, and how easy it is for us to just take it easy. So, gratitude is bhakti. Gratitude is bhakti. So that's what I wanted to speak today. Anyone has any question or comment? So what I was able to speak, I didn't prepare anything. It's only because of all of your presence. I have no realization or qualification to speak in front of such exalted devotees. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Anyone has any question or comment? Correction? Yes.
Presenting the topics, especially the absorption, see how absorption is given. But same time, but mentioning about how the show up, which is working, wherein talking to myself, wherein the last working but devotional qualities are not just doing by
Speaking about me, yeah.
How internalize this, how much prayer that I should be doing so to develop such kind of things that happen with people.
Yeah, I don't have the answer to that question. His Grace Guru can answer. But what I can say is the transformation will happen when we really, really want it. We really pray for it. We cry for it. And um, yeah, so I think the more the prayerful mood develops, I think when we have a very intense prayerful mood, bhakti becomes easy, right? So the prayers have to go deep into the heart. That's important. Like one time, my Guru Maharaj was saying that we sing the Mangalarti, Tulsi Arati, Narsingh Arati, Guru Puja. Maharaj said it's not just that we should utter these prayers and forget. The whole day, actually, the mood of this prayer should go into the heart and we should be in that mood. So the more and more we internalize the prayers, right? We understand the meaning and we pray with that understanding meaning, the more and more the prayerful mood comes. Some prayer will stick to us, like this prayer that I read today, right? So that matches my condition. I have no control of my senses, I eat like anything. So the thing is that that matches me. So then I can utter that prayer with feeling. So that prayer feeling is the best way to control the mind, right? Love is a feeling, is the greatest force. So uh, when we have that feeling will help us to control the mind, and feeling will help us to bring about transformation. Ultimately, Krishna has to transform. We cannot transform. Krishna has to make the transformation. And we need devotional qualities to exhibit to Krishna, not to anyone else, ultimately. So Krishna will be pleased when we manifest those qualities. So two things, prayerful mood and yeah, as much as possible, trying not to broadcast anything good we do. Like one time, one great Vaishnav said that your bhakti will go very far if you remove I from your day-to-day activities. You never speak about yourself, whether you're good, you're bad. You stop speaking about yourself, then your bhakti will go very far. So these two things. This is just my humble. What is it? My humble whatever I heard. Yes.
Thank you. Amazing that so many wonderful realizations and even just a personal vision.
Mm.
But you brought up a very nice point. Really liked it and want to follow it in business. And whenever you talk very looking for fame and not around the but sometimes what happens, we are in a rush. You start taking another one to the point first. Okay, what is the reason? So how do we handle it?
Yeah, I mean, personally, even I do that sometimes. Devotees may get irritated. By now, we call Tadal Pranam Jai Prabhupada is called 2 minutes ago. I do that because the Vaishnava aparadh also happens quite quickly. That's how aparadh happens. So aparadh doesn't happen slowly, does it? It happens quickly. So the thing is, it's always good to slow down. Yeah, because it's much better to slow down. This takes 2 3 seconds to slow down. But in that time, if you commit aparadh, then it takes a lot of time to repair that, right? Yeah. So yeah, so it's even better than just saying Dhanavad Jai Srila Prabhupada is when you're speaking to anyone, pray to Guru, think of Guru. That's even better. That's even better. And best is when we're always connected and we speak based on what inspiration we receive. That's the best. If you're always prayerful, that's the best. And that only when we're in that consciousness, we can always remember Krishna. So this is my humble realization. Well, I forget all the time. I'm just speaking what pure devotees do. It's not what I do. But yeah, I mean, when we live, I speak about myself. When we live bhakti very mechanically, then actually we don't pray. Don't pray. It's like, that, mm, and especially is hearing. Hearing is very important. Without hearing, there is no hope in bhakti, actually. If someone does not hear, does not read, there's no hope in it. There's no hope. It's like His Grace. Acharya Prabhu said, you will chant something else. No? You won't chant Hare Krishna. So you'll think something else also. You'll chant something else means you'll be chanting while you're thinking something. So naturally, the mind will run the videotape of the previous activities and create new samskaras. Oh, that was very nice. Speaking about myself, that's what happens all the time. Either we get material inspiration or spiritual inspiration. So material inspiration is very natural. Swabhavik. It's spontaneous. So if we don't download the spiritual inspiration of the pure devotees, naturally, it will become very difficult, or bhakti will become very difficult if we don't hear. So that's why hearing is very important. Even if you know the subject matter, you should hear again and again, because Krishna is ever new, bhakti is ever new, realization is ever new. So it's like Krishna's lotus feet. Krishna's lotus feet are amazing. Um, how we realize that when we uh, when we understand the potency of those lotus feet, isn't it? The potency of those nails, right? The nails and the toes of Krishna's feet. So when we realize the potency, then we can here speak about Krishna's feet for eternity actually, because as we speak, then the glory increases more and more and more. If Krishna, that's the most important thing. At every moment, Krishna manifests according to how much we have pleased him. So if Krishna is pleased with us, Krishna can always remain with us. Ultimately, is Sripad Prabhu says that it is looking like the devotee is chanting, but actually Naam is dancing. Naam is dancing. So it is looking like a devotee is trying to remember Krishna, but actually Krishna is forcefully entering into devotee's mind. See, there's a very wonderful song about the effect of a holy name. You all can read this. Krishna Naam Dhare Khotova. It's by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. You can look it up. Krishna Naam Dhare Khotova. It's very nice. What the holy name does actually. So yeah. Online, anyone has any question or comment?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
No problem.
Thank you very much. Danda Pranam, Amar Prabhupada. Thank you so much for a wonderful class. Prabhu, you said they associate with pure devotees.
Hmm.
Can you give
Yeah,
some clarification on who are pure devotees?
means ultimately it means when you follow the instructions of pure devotees, and when you're able to become inspired by the sound vibration of pure devotees. Lobhamay Shraddha, it is called actually. So, Lobhamay Shraddha means that the sound vibration from the pure devotee actually inspires you, transforms you, touches you. So, that is called association. Of course, it may not always happen, but we try. We try. We try. So, when we perform our sadhana, when we serve our authority very sincerely and with a very prayerful mood, when we are going on with our life, then that fortunate moment may so come that we will be able to feel the emotions of the pure devotees. And that is association. That will color the heart. That is called rag. Rag means color. So that when the pure devotee is allowing us mercifully to feel what he's feeling, even though it may be shadow, when he's so merciful, then that colors our heart. And that imprint, that feeling imprint, that divine imprint will help us to move forward more and more in Krishna consciousness. So that is called a real association, Antaranga Sangha. Like yesterday, Radhashankar was saying Antaranga Seva. So by having the mood of Antaranga Seva always, then one can have Antaranga Sangha. So associating with pure devotee does not mean that you have to be with the pure devotee necessarily. Of course, it helps, but it means to actually associate with the sound vibration, to feel the sound vibration. The sound vibration of a pure devotee, love mantra sadhu sangha sarva siddhi hoy, it has the potency to give us prema, to awaken remembrance, love for Krishna in such a way that we'll never have to come down to this material platform again. That is the power of pure devotee. Like we say initiation. So what is initiation? I'll just end with this. Initiation means Guru gives mantra into ear of disciple. That's traditionally Gayatri, right? So basically, why? Because when Guru speaks is Shabda Brahma. Shabda Brahma means it contains all the Shaktis, including the Hladini Shakti of the Lord. And it's very powerful. It purifies the heart, awakens remembrance, love for Krishna, etc. etc. So when you're hearing, then you're actually constantly getting initiated, actually, in that sense. Like Prabhupada said that the day from when one starts sincerely hearing, that is also a form of initiation, Prabhupada says. The Prabhupada purports are filled with so many secrets, so many inspiring things. Even the small books, it's incredible. So, yeah, so that is what actual association means. And highest association, I mean, along with this, when you please a pure devotee, when you please a pure devotee is so much pleased with you, and then you start exploding in ecstasy because it transfers that to the heart. Like sometimes we have experience, right? When we do some book distribution, we do some nice kirtan. I know such the Prabhu, we do it all the time. But when you do some nice kirtan, and then Guru is pleased, Krishna is pleased, then your heart just starts exploding. So yeah, that is I mean, I'm very fallen, but this is just what I heard. That this is um, this is the effect of pleasing a pure devotee, associating pure devotee.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Amazing, amazing answer. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Dhare Kotobal. It's a song, it's not an article. Okay, thank you. I'm sorry today His Grace Evolution Bro is supposed to speak, but please forgive me. As the aspiring servant of his servant, I spoke something, and ultimately, whatever good that came out is all we all prayed for him. That's why I was able to speak. And whatever, if I spoke anything wrong, it's of course I have so many impurities. I beg the blessings of everyone. Hare Krishna. Nrsimhadev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, all of you ki jai. Hare Krishna.